brothers and sisters, we're going to go through an experience in the last days that will be so trying. People's faith is going to be tested and sometimes even shattered, blown to smithereens. What is it that will hold us faithful through such a time? Because remember, Jesus says, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find what? Faith on the earth? So many times, like, we might even feel like the man who brought his son to Jesus to heal him, and when the disciples were not able to heal him, and he started to doubt. And Jesus asked him, do you believe? And the man says, Lord, I believe, help thou mine unbelief. Now that's a good prayer, but all the man could see and look at was his own faith, and he saw more doubt than faith. And he says, Lord, I believe, I have a little bit of faith, but you know what? Help my unbelief, because I'm seeing all the doubt now that I'm having, maybe because of what happened and so on. We go through experience, and God encourages our faith, like with Gideon. He meets us where we're at, and he told Gideon, no problem, you want a sign? Okay, what do you want? The thing wet and dry, ground dry? No problem, here it is. So Gideon, I want a, no problem, here it is. So God meets us where we're at to encourage our faith. But especially now in the New Testament, with what Christ accomplished, we need to remember this thing called the faith of the Son of God. It's vastly different to what we produce, what we conjure up. And that's what we need to fall back onto. When we feel like things are falling apart, and they do, it feels like that. And anyone who's lived in this earth any length of time, you know we're severely tried. As a Christian, particularly, I mean. It's a battle of the mind. You know, when Paul says, let this mind be in you, which was in Christ Jesus, it shows you where the battle is. You know, it also talks about casting down imaginations and every other thing that exalts itself. It's a mind battle. In other words, our attitude, our understanding makes a huge difference how we succeed or fail in this particular battle. And many times we have temptations that we feel, oh, they're strong, I'm weak, I'm against this particular thing. And we look to ourselves. So often we just look to ourselves. That's our default setting. And our weaknesses, we're keenly aware of them. We might hide them from other people. We know very well where our weaknesses are and so on. We need to look to Jesus. This weakness we might have, okay, that's all good and well, that's true. But when we meet the temptation, you have to remember, it's not you trying to hold up some strength or muster up some strength and hold up against it and hope to survive the experience. Jesus has already accomplished that. When you look to that, when you trust in that, all of a sudden, the temptation hasn't changed, but your outlook, your mindset has changed about your approach and how the temptation approaches you. And guess what? That makes all the difference. That's what living by the faith of the Son of God. There is literally, honestly, nothing that the devil can throw our way that Jesus has not faced, accomplished, and defeated. He actually told his disciples, listen, don't be afraid of those who kill the body. Let's take it to its ultimate. People, death. You know, a lot of people, a lot of Adventists conjure up all these scenes of last days and how they might be tried, how they might be tortured, what they can endure, and the things they can't endure. And I know, but we talk about it. Look, if they do this to me, I'm not sure if and they imagine whatever torture scenario. Say, I pray the Lord will put me to sleep before that time. Because I don't think I'll endure. Jesus told his disciples, listen, don't be afraid of those that kill the body. They can't destroy the body and soul. Only God can do that. Don't be afraid of that. Whatever we can experience. Look at Peter. Peter was crucified upside down. Like that's a bit strange. But Peter had a walk with the Lord. He was no fear, no problem. Whatever the devil throws your way. When we, brothers and sisters, honestly come to the place where we have that total confidence, assurance, and faith in the Son, we will be able to be put through the fire and come out on the other side. Whether we die or not is irrelevant, because so what if we die? No problem. We know the life giver. And how much then is, if we look at the temptations, the lesser things now, the things we face now, the temptations, the trials, the this and that, these are like practice ground. This is like practice for where does our mind go naturally, immediately. Yeah, the Son of God. I have the faith of the Son of God. If He's living in me, that temptation is already accomplished. That's dead and finished. And you know what? You will walk. You will have an experience of victory that you might not have had or experienced before, because of the change in perception and approach and mindset. Let this mind be in you. It makes a massive difference. It sounds very simple. It sounds almost like, well, you know, that you're oversimplifying it. But no, brothers and sisters, it's miraculous. There is something in it that the Lord does for us. It's not just you change your attitude and all will be well. You think positive and all will be well. It's not just the worldly, popular psychology, positive talking, self-help approach. No, there is a miracle that happens spiritually. And it's in harmony with our perception. And we're talking, you know, even addictions, even severe extreme things of addictions, and people addicted and say, you know, look, I'm trying, I'm working on this, overcoming. Listen, when you come to the place when you realize that addiction, whatever it might be, whatever trial, whatever besetting sin, is already done and dusted with Christ, is accomplished, it's defeated. We don't go on the tapering off, process of trying to overcome sin. I know for some people that's how it works. It depends on our perception, our faith. But listen, it's accomplished. The victory is accomplished. It's here and now. The problem is many times is our failure. We take our eyes off Christ. Like Peter, we walk on water a little bit, then we fall, we falter, we fail. And Christ doesn't give up on us, so we shouldn't give up on ourselves. He picks us up so that we can learn to continuously walk on water. Well, it makes a huge difference practically. And you have these things and you try hard for years and this and that, and you fall and fail. And then it's a matter of something clicks in the mind and you realize and you hold on to it, and that's what you look at, where you focus, and all of a sudden you say, that temptation, oh yeah, that temptation, what happened to that? It's kind of it happens without you really focusing on it as much, because you're focusing elsewhere. I'm trying to find the right words that are missing. Anyway, you know what I mean. That shows you where the battleground is. It's in the thoughts, it's in the imaginations, and this is what Satan would have assailed the mind of Christ on the cross with, beyond our comprehension. And Christ died, but he died victorious. So that's the battle. Christ went through a trial that is beyond our comprehension. Look, if you're familiar with the spirit prophecy, in the Desire of Ages, we're actually told, I don't know if you remember this, but that Christ would have actually died in the Garden of Gethsemane from this burden and from this weight, had it not been for the angel coming to strengthen him. So yeah, and he was like sweating blood, man. Like I don't know anyone who's ever even experienced that. So we don't comprehend what Christ was going through, the mental anguish and the sensing the Father's separation. When he says, my soul is sorrowful unto death, the verse we read today, when he told that to his disciples, this is very strange language for Jesus, who used to say before, the Father is always with me, I always do his plan. So definitely he was going through something that Satan thought, okay, this might be it. And he made this all-out assault on Christ. And then with the suffering, with the physical assault and mental assault to try and break him down. But he couldn't. Praise God, he couldn't. Failed. He failed. Big F, big fail. No, when I refer to that, I refer to that as an expression of what Christ felt and experienced. This is how he felt. He felt forsaken. He felt all alone. But despite that, and he expressed that. So this wasn't saying that he was making a statement that this is an expression of faith. This is an expression of how he felt. He felt forsaken. He's saying how he's feeling. But the statement of faith is when he said, it is finished. And when he actually said to his Father that he felt forsaken by, he actually said, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. I still trust you. You are still my Father. I still trust you. I commend my spirit into your hand. That's a statement of faith. It is finished. That's a statement of faith. So faith was despite how he felt. Look, we can relate to that many times when we go through experience and we feel all alone, and we say, Lord, why are you not listening? Why are you not answering? And we're expressing how we're feeling, what we're observing, what we're perceiving. But do we allow that to then influence our faith and destroy it? Or do we, despite that, actually trust in God regardless? Christ showed that. So that's the two aspects, if that makes sense. What he said was a reflection or an expression of what he experienced, what he felt. He felt all forsaken of God. He felt all alone. He could not perceive God's presence. He could not sense it. He could not see the Father. Even though the Father was there in the darkness, shrouded, physically, he was there. That's why it was dark, actually, and there was an earthquake and so on. But Christ was all alone. He died all alone. And despite feeling that way, his faith, he did not walk by sight or feeling. He walked by faith. He trusted God regardless of that. He expressed how he felt. Just like in the Garden of Gethsemane, he said, I don't feel like drinking this cup. This is my paraphrase. Okay, I don't feel like going through with this. If there is any way to avoid drinking this cup, if it were possible, I don't want to drink it. That's how he felt. He's expressing how he felt. But then he added to that the statement of faith. But not what I will, what you will. But it was so overwhelming that's how Christ was led to actually express how he felt. Like he told his disciples, my soul is sorrowful even unto death. That's he was saying what he felt like. So on the cross, in like manner, when he says, Father, why have you forsaken me? He's saying, this is what it feels like. This is what I'm experiencing now. I'm all forsaken of God. I'm all alone. Father, I don't sense your presence whatsoever. But regardless of that, Father, I trust you. You take in your hands I commend my spirit. It's finished. So very powerful, showing the two components and how Christ authored and finished our faith. Very powerful. Look, that's a good thing to remember when we go through a severe trial. And we have that faith, that one that he accomplished on the cross for us. That's the point of today's study. The faith of Jesus.